look at what's going on in Oklahoma now. I mean, how they're trying to completely change the curriculum.
Waters? Are we talking
Yes.
about Ryan Waters, that idiot? Oh my God.
Well, there are people that don't even want to think that they want to say dinosaurs lived at the same time as humans because they think the earth is only however many thousand years old.
Well, probably they watched the Flintstones.
Yeah,
and
but
and until your eyes are open, it's like, a lot of us have read I've read the Bible like 8 or 9 times, and it depresses me every time. I find it so depressing, but I do. And
I'm sorry.
but it's like in the first 2 books of Genesis, it conflicts.
yes,
One of them,
yes,
like,
exactly.
the woman is created out of the rib, but the other account is
the we, the
equal.
Elohim,
Yes.
Elohim. Yeah, I mentioned I was in a great books class in English, AP English, and I brought this up to them. This was our first assignment, was reading Genesis, and I was like, there's 2 different stories here. There's a story about, the Elohim and the we, and it even refers to God as a we, and then there's a God that's an I, and then there's this other story.
Yep.
And it's like, this doesn't make any sense. And she's like, she just, it was like, it just went nowhere. It was like, are you, how can you not see this? It's like so
But
obvious.
the thing is, though, you have detached from the mass consciousness. But this is where the mass conscious, everybody just believes this narrative. I mean, I can't tell you how many Christians I have met and asked them if they read the Bible.
No, they probably not.
And I said, but if this is the creator of the universe, you would think you'd want to read the instruction manual.
Don't they
but it is. But but the Old Testament itself, like Denise is saying, it's like there are all of these different accounts, it seems like.
Right.
Which makes me, your last Substack was excellent. And, this whole idea about, we're kind of like this experiment sort of thing. It's almost like these different like aliens were writing about the experiment in a way, to me, what this is in the Old Testament. Because then you get into Joshua, right? And so this God is supposed to be so, omnipotent. And then there's this story about these people were attacking Israel, and they had iron tanks, and God couldn't destroy them because they were iron. And I asked my dad, I said, this doesn't make sense to me. How can this be this omnipotent being that can't destroy the other people's? And he goes, they were all aliens. We're just, I got that from my dad. He said, we're all like this experiment from aliens. And it's like one alien group couldn't conquer the other one.
That's
exactly right. I think that's what the history of the Bible is all about. Yeah. Right. And that was bad that she was told the truth. I mean, that is also, the serpent is also a layover, and the apple is a symbol of the heart of the goddess. And the serpent is actually an ancient goddess symbol. So that is kind of the patriarchy, the patriarchal Jews trying to bury their own religious, their own spiritual traditions by saying it's evil. Demonizing the goddess, demonizing feminine wisdom, because they wanted to adopt this. And there's a really good book called When God Was a Woman that I read in Arts by Millstone. And I mean,
that's a classic.
Yeah, it's a really good book. And I can't remember the whole book. I mean, I read it like 30 years ago, or more now. But I
covered it about 3 years ago.
Oh, you did? Okay. So watch her
I'll
thing.
Have to listen to that, because it's been like 30 years since I've read it.
Yeah, same. I read it.
It's only been 3 for me, and I don't remember a word.
Well, it's dense. I just remember the thing that stuck out in my mind the most was that the ancient Jews were goddess worshipers like everybody else. I mean, almost all first cultures were matriarchal, and they had this thing where they started developing agriculture, and then they started, building temples. And what happened was their society, they would cast out men who were violent, right? It's not an uncommon practice in tribal societies to cast out